Welcome back to the Hardcover Podcast, Book Babes. I'm Aubrey.
And I'm Peyton.
And as the year wraps up, we've had a lot of great books this year. We had The Night and the Moth, Wild Reverence, Calabasas. We've had some hitters. We've also had some not so great books, some bad books, if you will. And those are the ones we're going to talk about today. Our absolute worst reads of 2025.
Yes, so drink a cup of coffee as we dive between these paper sheets. Already jumping off with our first worst book of 2025. Well, we have to mention her. We've got JLA's Jennifer L. Armentrout's Primal of Blood and Bone. It's a running joke on this podcast that we cannot go a podcast without talking about JLA. And this one's at least fitting. We've got Primal of Blood and Bone. Aubrey, you're good at this. It's book what?
This is book 12 of the From Blood and Ash series. 12.
So, yeah, everyone, this book was also so long. We can't really get into the plot line of this if you've never been introduced to the From Blood and Ash. It's from the From Blood and Ash series, which I'm sure many people have heard of. We're dealing with werewolves, vampire-like people. We've got this creature called like the Craven, and it's this society. Of course, we got the big fantasy map, and some people hate some people. There's primal gods involved. Mind you, I don't know, 3 years ago when I was in college and started reading this, I was like, wow, this is a pretty good series. And it has fell off for us so hard, so much that we can't keep it out of our mouths. I always think, every time about JLA, I think about Actually Romantic by Taylor Swift.
Yeah. It was written about me and JLA.
If I was JLA, I'd be like, wow, it's actually romantic how much those girls can't stop talking about me. But it's true, and you're on our worst books list.
It's so sad, guys. And I feel like I say this all the time because I have to walk you through this. When we first started this series and we were in college, like Peyton said, we loved it. JLA's one book was on my top 5 of the year in 2022.
That's crazy.
3 years ago, she was in my top 5. And that's why I feel like I have the right to complain and bitch and call her a capitalist greedy whore. You know what I mean? Because it's been a betrayal. Because I loved it. It's fallen from grace, okay? It's fallen from the heavens.
Not the betrayal trope.
Literally, it's like the author betrayed me, actually.
Yeah.
And not in a cute way.
I like my betrayal trope in my book, not IRL, and How the Mighty Have Fallen with this one. It is sad. This book was over 1,000-something pages long.
Longer than a Sanderson book.
Which is crazy for a romantasy. Yeah, don't recommend.
Bad, guys. I only have bad things to say about it. And if you want to hear us say more bad things, we do have a review of this one up. Because we're on book 12, we're bought into the series, and I'm reading the books so everyone else in my life doesn't have to.
Yes.
So everyone else in my life, I can say, please do not pick this up. And someone commented on one of the videos and they were like, oh, you make it sound so fun. Maybe I'll read it. And I'm like, no, I'm making it fun.
We're trying to entertain you through our pain.
It's my hatred.
Yeah, we like to joke through our pain. Yeah. So that's why, yeah. So go watch that review. Even if you've never read any of the books, it's fun.
Okay, this next one is a betrayal for me of
us.
My best friend.
We've got some beef.
Peyton, why I gave this book 5 stars.
Listen, there's many times in the history of this podcast that Aubrey and I feel slightly different about a book. Maybe I rank it higher, she ranks it lower, or as time goes on, maybe she's like, yeah, that book's really just not it. And I'm like, no, but I really do like it. This one, complete opposites. We could not have been more, I went into this podcast we're gonna trash this book. It's gonna suck. And then she gets on and she's like, 5 stars. And I'm like, wait, what did you read? So this is Problematic Summer Romance by the one and only Ali Hazelwood, which I do love.
Yeah.
A lot of her books are a tad too smutty for me. And I think why I sort of, and then maybe I'm trying to find like the silver lining here, is that Aubrey and I offer you two different types of fantasy, romance readers. So I feel like viewers can either relate to like my taste or Aubrey's taste, and then or somewhere in the middle. I'm someone that doesn't love very vulgar, smutty sex scenes. Allie Hazelwood does those best. And it just so happens that in this book, it was a little gross to me. Like on a level of like not being able to enjoy it. Whereas in my favorite book by her is Mate and Bride. Those I'm like, yes, like it felt right. Whereas this just felt like I was reading this book to read about their like age gap fetish.
Yeah, they do talk about the age gap a lot in this one, but I think you kind of nailed it on the head because I either want my books to be like epic fantasy, Brandon Sanderson, like dragons, everything in it. Or if I'm going to a romance book, I just want it to be smut. Obviously, I need a storyline. I've actually tried like I can't do poorly written books, but Allie Hazelwood has like the perfect amount of smut in it for me. Whereas I feel like your favorite books are ones that sit in the middle.
Yeah.
Of that. I want the extremes and you want that like healthy middle ground.
In between. Yeah, I definitely, and I think there's not a right or wrong side to be on. I just think it's merely preference. And I know there's a lot of listeners that are like, okay, well, what level of actual spice? We're like, is it Peyton Spice or is it Aubrey Spice?
Yes,
but
yes.
I never want to come on and trash Allie Hazelwood because I genuinely love her as an author. I love what she's doing, and I love that she's been like churning out amazing stories left and right. This one for me was like, I don't know if I think it was like 1 or 2 stars. Like it just really was not it. And yeah, like it's kind of like when you mentioned, I'm like, ugh, that book. But Aubrey read the prequels and you liked them as well to this book.
Yeah. And I don't think you could do that one. Not in Love. I don't think you could do that one at all. That one I felt was actually like smuttier.
Worse? That's crazy.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I think the old man gave old man energy sometimes.
I think when you said how you pictured Pedro Pascal, that changed everything for me.
Yeah. We read it right around the time of the SNL skit, like SNL 50, where Sabrina and Pedro Pascal did the like the wedding skit thing.
Yeah.
And that image was ingrained in my mind and it really did numbers.
Yeah, and when you mentioned that, I was like, oh.
You're like, oh, now I can get with it.
But I just like anything from a man's perspective, especially kind of like talking about that. So I was just like, it took me out of it. But love you, Allie. Just not this one. Go read Bride or Mate. Those Mate came out this year. Highly recommend.
Okay. Next.
We're back on the same page.
Back on the same page. This is a series that some of you guys love. And I gave it my all. This is the Powerless series. The Powerless series, and specifically, we're going to talk about Fearless, which came out in 2025. If you guys have been a fan of the podcast, you know that this series has been a journey for us.
Yeah.
The first book came out, and Peyton was like, yeah, you liked it. And I said, I know the original content here.
I've read this story before, which I haven't had read.
Yes. So if you guys don't know, Powerless is very, very, very heavily inspired by Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, to the point where like there were scenes that were copy paste the same, and to the point where speeding up to 2025, after Powerless gets traditionally picked up, the second book comes out, the third book comes out, Victoria Aveyard makes marketing content about Red Queen, which came out way back in 2015.
Oh my gosh,
and Powerless fans were accusing Victoria Aveyard of plagiarism.
Yeah.
Plagiarism, because obviously Victoria Aveyard got into a time machine, came to the year of 2025 and said, you know what, there's stellar books on the market right now, like Hunger Games, like, The Night in the Mall. Like, there are books have done numbers. But what about that teeny bopper Powerless series? What if I took that?
Yes. I think if I was 15 years old, have never read any book like this before, and I picked up Powerless in this series, I would have been like, whoa. But I've been around the block a few times, and Lauren Roberts has been around the block a few times and knows better. And so Powerless came out, and I never read Red Queen before. Aubrey has. So I understood her strifes with this book, and I respected that. But I also respected that I really liked the ending of Powerless. And I was really excited for Fearless. Fearless comes out. How dare you do this to me, Lauren? How dare you? This book was the worst thing I've ever read. And I stood up for you. And I stood up for you. And the whole time, the only thing I remember about this book is something about a desert and something about a chain. I don't understand how the chain works, okay? And here we are, Fearless, in the year our Lord 2025. And I'm tired. I don't want to defend it. It was better than whatever. I'm probably messed
Reckless,
up.
but
Reckless. Yep.
every time I think about the ending to this book, I feel like I'm transported back into a fever dream.
Yeah.
The ending of this book ranges from the most irritating, insufferable, whiny plotline you've ever read in your life to the most nonsensical, what the fuck is happening? Did a 13-year-old write this? And like no editor stepped in to like draft. Like thinking about the ending of this book physically makes me tense.
It was trying so much and so many different things at once to see like, let's see what happens. And it's just like, no, let's not. Like, why did we hit send on this? I don't know why. I just want to say that I did not go into this book series, book 1, 2, or 3 with any like hate reading. I went in with a clear mind and high hopes, medium hopes. Guys, it's and I was on this list, and I'm sorry to say that, and I will, Lauren, if you ever come out with anything in the future, I'll give it a shot again, girl.
No, you won't. You know why? Because she's announced that the next series coming out is still going to be set in the same fucking world. The world where
like
there's
JLA.
a city as a country, a desert, and then another city. And that's our brilliant world building. There's no rivers in this world, mind you. If you look at the map, there's no rivers. It's actually the most infuriating world building ever. She was like, oh, I can take the plot from Red Queen. But like Red Queen's map is based off of the United States because it's dystopian. So like, couldn't you have just like done a Sarah J. Maas and like taken, I don't know, like the East Coast of America or something?
Yeah.
Like the fact that you created a world with no rivers
makes sense where there's a desert.
How are we drinking water? How are these people surviving? Where are the crop fields? You need like 10 square miles of crops for like every like 50 people.
And that's the thing with fantasy.
How are we eating?
You can't, like, I feel like in romance, like all of a sudden we're like, yeah, that just happens. But in fantasy, as a fantasy reader, we need those connections and we need those answers. So all of our younger viewers that love this book series, girl, listen.
Pick up Red Queen.
I loved, well, first of all, pick up Red Queen. Second thing is, I've been there. I've read things in the past that I was like, this is it. Just, I'm sorry. And it's a no from us, unfortunately. Moving on. I feel really upset about this next one because I was really looking forward to it. So this is Christina Lauren's Love in Other Words. So Christina Lauren, they're two friends. So Christina's a person, Lauren's a person. They just came out with the book The Paradise Problem this past year, which was pretty popular. This book, when I first came onto the book talk scene, this book was so freaking popular. And it was of a different cover. It was the previous cover of that. It was orange and it had like little notes. That's the new cover. So I was really excited. This was like, you need to read Love in Other Words. You need to read Love in Other Words. Guys, I can confidently sit here, and we talked about this book a couple podcasts ago. I was like, I like stuttered. I was like, wait, what the hell even happens in this book? Like, I forgot this book that is a book talk sensation, must read. I'm like, Aubrey, what happened in this book? I remember reading it, and I remember being like, 2 to 3 stars, sure, like, but it wasn't, I don't remember. So yeah, it's the worst of 2025 because I don't remember it.
This book's bad. Obviously, it's on this list. Let me tell you why it's bad. There's two things. First of all, the book is split between the couple as teenagers falling in love, and then the couple as adults reconnecting after 7 years of silence. Very interesting premise. The teenager plotline, amazing, beautiful, loved it.
I remember loving that part.
So
loving
romantic.
the teenagers. Yes.
Which just makes the adult plotline feel
Insufferable.
1,000 times. I cannot think of a single nice thing to say about the adult timeline. It was so bad. And also, there is this thing in the book where you know from them as adults, you know that something bad happened when they were teenagers that caused them to break up and not speak to one another for 7 years. And you know what happened on like New Year's Day, okay? So the book starts with, in the past, and then starts inching closer to New Year's Day in both the past and the present timeline, which is the stupidest thing you could do, because there was basically the characters as adults meet in like May or June, and then don't talk about why they broke up and why they haven't talked for 7 years until New Year's Day.
Yeah, and you're like,
months pass with these characters either not talking or they're like both in relationships at first. And literally, it's so bad. And then you find out why they broke up. And that leads us into my issue 2 with this book. Let's just say it was a gray area of why they broke up, and fans were split between what really happened, because things were talked about, but it wasn't like in detailed enough. And it was like a heavy subject matter of why they broke up that kind of got skirted around to the point where, depending on what edition of the book you have, you may or may not have this additional epilogue that completely changes the context of why they broke up. Like, they revised the story 5 years later to come up with this additional epilogue to change why they broke up, that then makes one of the characters look like the absolute devil. Because why they broke up then is such a horrendous, sensitive topic that it makes literally no sense for the other person to be mad at this person over it. And it was all revisionist.
Yeah, this is such a messy, like in the real world, like publication wise, messy. And honestly, it's a no. And I'm really sad about it, because I voted for this book for book club. I was excited to read it. And yeah, I will say them being kids, love. But they must have fallen on their heads within 7 years, because they as adults are like, I feel like as kids, they're like beyond their years and they really connect. And I feel like their thoughts about life, I'm like, yes, like that's kind of like the mindset I felt like I kind of had when I was that age. And then they become adults and I'm like, what happened? Like, what the hell happened in 7 years? Like, you're not who you, like, what? And you're living with, huh? And you're doing, huh? And you're inviting, it's so messy.
And not fun messy either.
No. So it's a no. It's a no. Well, speaking of bad book club books, as everyone knows on this podcast, our viewers, we are part of a other book club, and we don't really choose what we read, but this month, this book, which this month was in, which was March, we read The Lost Bookshop. And may I say I was really excited to read this one as well, but I hated it. I was like curious. I mean, this was March we read this, people. It is November at the time of filming this. And so I was like, what did I review it? Like, what stars and what did I say? I always say a little few words. 2 stars, and it says, we lost the plot, mate. We lost the plot. This book was pretty promising in the beginning. So much that book club was like, this could be 4 or 5 stars. By the end, I'm scrolling through reviews of our friends, 2 stars, 1 star, maybe a 3 star. This across the board fell off.
Yeah, I feel like you could make one of those like what are they called? Like the grid charts, like the alignment charts where you
Oh
have
yeah.
like different axes. And I feel like if you have pros of like good writing and bad writing, and then you have like an entertaining story and a boring story, okay? And like slow pace. Most of the time, a book will land either like your 5 stars are the ones with good writing and good pacing. Then, your middle of the pack is you can usually get a book that's like really entertaining, but the writing isn't that good. Or you can get a book that has like really good writing, but it's like a little boring. This is one of the rarest moments of time in which
It can be
I
studied.
have read a book that had really good writing and the storytelling became so, so horrible. You start off and you're like, oh, the prose is good. The concept's stellar. I love these characters. And then every single meeting, you watch the light slowly drain from everyone's eyes as they were like, what the fuck am I reading? Like it felt like the beginning was this like polished draft, like polished revision book. And the end was like whatever Evie Woods typed on her computer that day
Yeah.
without
She's
looking
like,
back.
shit, I gotta finish this book. I can do it in 30 minutes. That's kind of what it felt like. There's a 1-star review that says drier than a Thanksgiving turkey. I
Yeah.
love like the whole magical realism idea. Like March, we like to like kind of like, it's cozy. And we're like, oh, this will be
Yeah.
so much fun. Like we're literally a book club, bookshop, a magical bookshop. Like the idea of like, different times. Love it. But I think like looking at these 1-star reviews, it's just people ranting because people are
Yeah.
angry and people want to be
Yeah.
heard. And I would never pick up another book by this author because
No.
like that's called breaking trust. Like you had potential, and that's the sad thing. Do not recommend this one. It's more so like you're gonna get invested and then just waste your time versus like
Yes.
at least be just a bad book. Like up front, not a good book, got it. But when you show potential and then you just leave us in the dust, that's betrayal.
That's dirty, honestly. And this book has like split timelines where you follow this one character in the past, one character in the present, and they're both like the title and on the cover is this Lost Bookshop. Is this bookshop that like it's a
Whoa.
magical bookshop that appears and like is like semi-sentient, and there's a character who's like searching for this lost bookshop, and then the other character is like you think the character who like starts the bookshop. And then we don't touch the bookshop nearly enough. Like I don't even know at the end, like we barely get the bookshop.
Yeah.
We barely got the bookshop when it's the fucking title of the book.
There was no bookshop in the bookshop book.
The character in the past has like a gallivants through Europe and then goes to a mental asylum, and then like other things happen to her, and you're like, hey, when is that bookshop going to be relevant? Like
Yeah.
when are we going back to the original plot of the like you can tell that Evie Woods did not have this plotted. She sat down at her computer every day and whatever came out, came out.
Yeah, I feel like the first 5 chapters, she's like, I have this idea with these characters and this bookshop and whatever. And I'm like, yes. And then she had to write out those characters and what that arc looked like. And it was almost like she got overwhelmed and then gave up.
Yep.
And then published it. So,
And then
yeah.
we read it.
No. Womp womp.
No. Big letdown. Okay, the final book on here is one that I have. Betrayal is a common theme in this episode. And I think that's what like really defines a worst read is that you have these expectations that not only aren't met, but are so like severely under-delivered
Yeah.
that suddenly like not only am I disappointed, but I'm like there's a sense of betrayal, there's a sense of anger, and a lot of these books are books that we couldn't just DNF. Like Payne and I are not above DNFing.
Yeah.
We will DNF.
I have.
Like, we both started When the Moon Hatched last year,
Yeah.
and both collectively DNF'd that.
I'm not gonna waste my time.
You shouldn't have to continue a book you don't like, but
Yeah.
some of this is series that we're bought into, authors that we're bought into, book
Book
club that
club.
we're bought into. Mine is another series, and that is Rebel Witch.
I didn't know you had the book, actually.
Yeah, because I bought the book before I finished it.
Oh, no.
Because I read the first book, Heartless Hunter or Crimson Moth, last year, and I really had a blast. Like, it was YA. It wasn't like the best book you've ever read in your life.
But it was a good time.
But it was a good time, especially like once you got into it. We're following a witch. It's a gas lamp setting. The witches are outlawed, and so she has to like hide the fact that she's a witch, and she's trying to protect these other witches. And
Love
of
it.
course, she has to like fall in love or like pretend to fall in love with the number one witch hunter for like very logical and well thought out reasons. Okay.
Of course.
It's very much giving what's the movie with Matthew McConaughey and the blonde girl, and they're like both journalists and they're trying to write pieces about each other.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's gonna bother me.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yes, I was like, yeah, I just watched that too.
Yes, it was a witchy How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. It was beautiful. No notes. I mean notes, but like no notes, right? Yeah. I go into the second book. It was a dumpster fire.
You're like, huh?
I mean, it's enemies to lovers in the first book, obviously. And this has my least favorite thing ever, which I love a good enemies to lovers. Enemies to lovers can create unparalleled tension. But the second you become lovers, you're not allowed to go back to enemies.
It's over. It is over. That's my fear of Brimstone, which just came out today as we're recording this. That's my fear.
Yeah. Because you cannot tell me that you love me and then treat me like an enemy again. Like, that's not how a man in love treats a woman, okay?
It ruins your character. Like, it ruins,
Yeah.
especially it's always the guy that does it too. And it ruins him forever because I'm like, no, never trust him again.
Yeah, like, you confess your love and then still tried to kill me?
Fuck him.
Like, we can't recover from this. But,
Yeah.
So in addition to that, we also have sexual assault used as like a plot device
Don't love that.
repeatedly in this book. And in the last 30 like pages, we introduce like 8 new characters.
Fun.
Because that's what I needed. Because that's how you make a book interesting.
I'd love to see a good review of this book.
So, to anyone who was recommended by me to read Heartless Hunter, I apologize.
She recommended book 1, not book 2, okay?
Yep.
Do you even watch the podcast?
Don't pick this up.
Oh, okay. So that concludes our rant fest on these books. I could go all day. I mean, we love a good hate talk, don't we? We love a good hate review. But with that being said, last week we did the Goodreads Choice Awards Best of for 2025. So if you haven't, please jump to last week's vid, watch that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm very curious to see what everyone else's like hate reads were of the year, or some that you were really excited for and then you ended up hating. And don't say any of our favorites or you're not allowed to watch these videos.
If you mention The Night and the Moth, you're done.
No, we love a good friendly discourse. So please like and subscribe. And yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us and happy reading.